Ambassador Emmanuel Mwamba confronts the truth behind what may be Zambia's darkest environmental catastrophe, the collapse of the Copperbelt Dam that poisoned the lifeline of our nation, the Kafue River. From the Copperbelt through Central Province and into Lusaka, more than 7 million Zambians depend on this river for survival. Today, that very lifeline carries death. Who bears the blame? Did the government of the Republic of Zambia commit an act of treasonable negligence by failing to protect its people? Or did a Chinese mining giant unleash one of the most inhuman and catastrophic crimes in history? An act so reckless it could threaten a third of Zambia's population. The questions are grave. The answers may shake this nation to its core. EM Verified. Monday night. Do not miss it.
Amitapendwa ya vintu ifisume vyote bula kuibukisha Tanate potimo wimbo watemenwa katongi Abazunga wajita katongi Nagula kuibukisha kateka Aibuku muna kapona Neseko siove pamenso Yangwa umebaya Iyaba ume Iyaba ume
Kateka wabantu twakulira lelo twakulira shika kukonke milimo shove
ale filamba fiena minta pengo sile Deti kume mo kulondolo la vale lilo mwingi
Iseko wingi mwakwete Isaso wingi mwakwete Mwaya mwende wino tata wesu
Katushi muchi mokege Wali bomba kale Lomba mwatu jatuleli lake
Upanga mwine Oya mwine Ide lalila
Tangu ya mama ume Ala nacho mwabye Mama
Ambassador Emmanuel Mwamba confronts the truth behind what may be Zambia's darkest environmental catastrophe, the collapse of the Copperbelt Dam that poisoned the lifeline of our nation, the Kafue River, from the Copper Belt through Central Province and into Lusaka. More than 7 million Zambians depend on this river for survival. Today, that very lifeline carries death. Who bears the blame? Did the government of the Republic of Zambia commit an act of treasonable negligence by failing to protect its people? Or did a Chinese mining giant unleash one of the most inhuman and catastrophic crimes in history? An act so reckless it could threaten a third of Zambia's population. The questions are grave. The answers may shake this nation to its core. EM Verified. Monday night. Do not miss it.
Thank you very much. It's indeed Monday night in which we dedicate this broadcast to what happened on 18th February 2025. A dam, a tailing dam holding toxins in millions of tons collapsed, and its spewage went into Mwambashi River in Kalulushi, eventually into Kafue. And it appeared to be a small issue, but it is not. I think there's been a lot of issues that have been underestimated. Let us go to the particular issues. What happened on 18 September? What is the scale of this pollution that affected Kafue River? What is the lasting ecological impact of that pollution? Who is to blame? Who's covering up? Are the lives of our people in danger? I will play a few videos, then we invite the discussion, and you are free to call as soon as possible. This is a matter that affects Kafue River, is one of the biggest rivers in our country, and it provides not just water, but fish resources, and other things for our country. You have Zambezi, you have Kafue River, you have Luangwa. These are some of the biggest rivers in our country. And if there is pollution to the extent that we are being told, this is a matter that can't be wished away. It's a matter you can't just hope that it goes away, because the environmental disaster, the livelihoods it will take away from, it has taken away from our people. And just the damage to the river, especially that will be going into rain season soon, is unimaginable if the facts are what they say they are. Let's play some videos.
He drinks a full cup of tap water supplied by Nkana Water and Sanitation Company, an assurance that it is safe. Since the pollution of Kafue River in February this year by Sino Metals, there has been assertions that the water may not be safe. And Ministry of Information and Media Permanent Secretary Tawo Kawana was on the ground to prove those assumptions wrong. The PS information toured the Nkana Water Treatment Plant and Storage Facility. At Bulangililo Treatment Plant, Mr. Kawana was taken through the operations and measures the utility has taken after the pollution.
No time did we supply polluted water. Then we continued monitoring the water quality, and in the meantime we introduced pre-chlorination to help us precipitate the heavy metals.
He later interacted with residents of Buchi Township, where he assured them that the water is safe for use.
We will rest assured that our people, particularly those in Kitwe.
In February this year, a tailing dam at Sino Metals copper mine, owned by a Chinese corporation, collapsed, causing pollution in the Kafue River. The contamination led to significant losses for local residents, including damaged crops, livestock, and unsafe water that could no longer be consumed. Today, government provided an update on the pollution during a press briefing. Minister of Water Development, Collins Nzovu, described the water as now safe for consumption.
Of this water. The most important parameters, as you may know, for water quality include cyanide, manganese, zinc, uranium. Few months have reviewed that all the tests, all the results are within the of our citizens. All the points and all the times. Remember, the chief government spokesperson has clearly stated that over 200 samples have been collected and analyzed.
And Minister of Information and Media, Cornelius Muitwa, said no death has been recorded as a result of the pollution.
Routine surveillance is ongoing and no confirmed case or cases of acute heavy metal poisoning have been detected or reported.
Minister of Green Economy was also present at the briefing.
We gave adequate information to the country. We gave what we thought was necessary, and we are here again to give information.
A similar incident has also happened in Kanchibia.
Located in Kanchibia district, a river that has been polluted because of the mining activities that are happening in Mpika district, to be more specific, from the Kanyelele gold mine, where we have miners that are mining and directly washing the gold as they are mining with a very harmful substance called mercury. They are washing their gold and they are doing this cleansing of their gold right in our river source, where our river is coming from, that area. That is where the water flows from. And
Justin Banda, Sun FM TV News.
Now, government says water is safe. The intervention measures they put through have yielded results and life has returned to normal. There's even been a compensation of 800 kwacha to the nearest community in Chambeshi. But an audit, environmental audit, an assessment done by a Drizzt environmental company in South Africa that is specialized in matters like this of pollution, has issued a report. They were procured by both Zambia Environmental Management Authority, ZEMA, and Sino Metals, the leaching company that held this dam, which then are these toxins from the copper that they process, the waste that was in this leaching dam, that tailing dam that collapsed. They hired an independent assessor, a company called Drizzt, and the results are damning. Part of the report says the toxic spill that occurred in Kafue River in February 2025 was far more severe than reported by Sino Metals. Sino Metals said we had 50,000 metric tons of waste in there. The independent assessment, environmental assessment, has revealed that it was 30 times more, 1.5 million metric tons of waste were in the dam that spilled into Kafue River, Mwambashi and Kafue River. And Sino Metals, after this report leaked, immediately fired Drizzt, because they were hired, I think, at a cost of $4.5 million to do this assessment. And after detailed investigations, walk to the across Mwambashi and Kafue River up to way into the game parks and up to Lusaka, they revealed that the toxins were extremely high. The hard metals remained in the water and not fit for either human or animal consumption. The investigation by Drizzt took 2 months. And the allegation is that Sino Metals underestimated or underreported the amount of waste they had in the tailing dam that collapsed. It was in 50,000 tons. It was 1.5 million metric tons. And then Drizzt conducted 3,500 tests at various points across the Kafue River. And they found that there was extremely dangerous levels of pollutants, including cyanide, arsenic, copper, zinc, lead, cadmium, and all these heavy metals pose significant immediate and long-term health risks that will damage organs, that will provide birth defects and cancers along whoever drinks this water. Who drinks this water? There are 7 million of us that drink that water. Lusaka drinks this water from Kafue River. So you can imagine the extent of the pollution. So why is government saying the water is safe? You saw the PS even drink the water. Why is government saying that water is safe with that kind of pollution? Now, international reports, Channel 4 commissioned a report that came to Zambia, did their independent assessment, and also had sight of this audit report. Two things immediately happened. We saw from the UPND media concerted allegation against the Mr. Mwinga, the Director General of ZEMA. They accused him of having obtained a bribe and that he had bought a house in South Africa and that he had fled. They also accused him that he had collaborated with Dreamsit, this company that did Drizit, that company that did the audit. Of course, this is before we saw the international report. So for me, I'll excuse that Mr. Mwinga. I think they are trying to look for a fall guy. Who do they blame? They have to discredit the report because that means government has lied. That means government has engaged in a cover-up. That means government is perpetrating not just a crime, but a crime against humanity, allowing communities to drink water that is hazardous, that has dangerous chemicals, that has long-lasting impact on their lives and the lives of their children. This is very serious. So the pre-report that we saw from the UPND media was designed to, I think, to underplay and scandalize the company that did the audit, accuse them of corruption, and then, their report will not be taken seriously. But looking at the institutions that have carried this matter, I think the report is credible. I think there's something that is there. Let's look at the report from that was published internationally. It has been published by it was broken by Channel 4 and then reported by other media. Just pay attention.
Catastrophe that's been followed by an alleged government and industry cover-up. The disaster at a copper mine in Zambia earlier this year has seen a toxic cocktail of chemicals spill into a river which millions of Zambians live alongside. Channel 4 News has seen a report by an independent body setting out how the true scale of the accident at the mine, which is Chinese-owned, has been suppressed. Our chief correspondent Alex Thompson has this exclusive report.
It's February the 18th. An environmental disaster on an historic scale has begun. At a copper mine in Zambia, owned by the Chinese company Sino Metals, a dam holding back a reservoir of toxic waste has collapsed. What some experts claim is one of the worst and least reported mining accidents ever has been unleashed. Matched, they say, by one of the worst government and industry cover-ups. It is spewing lethal chemical poison, arsenic, cyanide, uranium, lead, mercury and more. Soon, slicks of dead fish line the river shore. Nearly 2/3 of Zambia's 20 million people live along the vast Kafue river system.
It is an environmental disaster, really of catastrophic consequence when we consider the fact that Sino Metals has polluted a river on which millions of people depend for their livelihoods. We're also talking about wildlife. If we look at the communities in the immediate vicinity of the river, the entire livelihoods have been destroyed.
A helicopter drops lime into the river to try and neutralize the acidity from the spill. The dam waste was so acidic it could dissolve human bones. And after the dead fish, the dead and dying crops. Week after week of damaging delay went by. From the air, the scale of the damage is clear, the scarred, polluted landscape of the now empty reservoir. The government did order Sinometals to pay for an independent survey to assess the damage. And that survey appears to have been buried by the government and the mine, but Channel 4 News has obtained a copy exclusively. Tonight, we can reveal this 385-page report compiled by South African environmental assessors who sampled hundreds of sites in the vast toxic slurry. The river supplies drinking water to about 5 million people, including the capital, Lusaka. So, weeks of painstaking research, thousands of samples taken. And you'd think, wouldn't you, that the emergence of this report would trigger, even at this late stage, the kind of large-scale cleanup that was required. In fact, nothing like that happened at all. The environmental assessors say it would need at least 100 trucks a day for over a year to begin clearing away the contamination. Watching all this, the environmental assessors appear to have lost patience. In early June, they wrote this letter to the government begging them to take action. The language they use could hardly be more stark. Their letter says that official reports stating that 50,000 tonnes were released is grossly inaccurate, and that their estimate is 30 times that, over 1.5 million tonnes. That's not all. They write that extremely hazardous substances were released, including arsenic, cyanide, uranium, and other heavy metals, which has created a toxic environment capable of causing irreversible harm to both the ecosystem and human health. Communities are at serious risk of developing birth defects, cancers, liver and lung disease, heart conditions, and other chronic illnesses. Without immediate intervention, the consequences for future generations of Zambians will be severe and long-lasting. By now, others had had enough. The US Embassy broke cover on June the 12th, issuing this notice, telling its nationals to evacuate urgently from the polluted region. That produced no major action from the authorities, so the Americans put out another warning in August, now saying even breathing the air in the pollution zone could be dangerous. That did it. The very next day, the government called a press conference. Surely they were about to take action. Quite the opposite.
Laboratory results show that the pH levels have returned to normal and concentrations of heavy metals are steadily decreasing, which means that the immediate danger to human, animal, and plant life has been averted as we speak today.
But the minister wasn't done yet. His clear message, nothing to see here.
All serious implications on public health, water safety, agriculture, and the environment have been brought under control. There is, therefore, no cause for alarm.
Meanwhile, the mine is putting out PR videos claiming the water's safe to drink. Far from cleaning up for local people, they're buying up local people. More PR images of food handouts and around £800 compensation for affected families. Some, unable to read or write, sign with a thumbprint. The Chinese management say they're in it for the long haul.
On behalf of Sinometals, this community is our partner. Our commitment will continue beyond today.
But there's a catch. Anyone accepting the compensation payment is forced to sign a gagging deal, preventing them from ever taking legal action against the mine. We asked the mining company Sinometals for an interview. They declined, but sent a statement.
The allegations made against Sinometals lack factual and legal basis. Sinometals refutes these allegations in their entirety.
The Zambian government declined to be interviewed and did not respond to any of the points raised in this report. Even as we compiled this report, US-Chinese tensions spilled over. America accusing China directly of a cover-up, noting,
Sino-Metal's poisoning of the Kafue River and its efforts to avoid responsibility demonstrate the contempt state-owned Chinese companies have for the lives of the Zambian people. This environmental catastrophe is the latest example of their callous indifference towards the African people. We remain concerned that the Chinese government-owned mine has sought to cover up the scope and severity of this catastrophe.
The Zambian government is now restructuring its $5.6 billion debt with China. So Zambia, trying to make China clear up the mess it's made, is difficult timing, leaving those in the polluted zone getting by as best they can. And they know only too well that the rains are coming in a few weeks. Scientists predict they'll flush the poisons further down the river system with no major...
So the report is very clear. It has deemed this as a catastrophe, and it's being ranked among the world's worst mining and environmental disasters. Now, those words are very, very heavy, extremely heavy, and they do not require government to cover up. That report is from Channel 4, and we need to give credit to it so that they don't strike out my broadcast. It's a report by Channel 4 of UK, that broadcaster that I've lent the copy to play. Now, Sino-Metals Zambia Limited, SML, is a company, is a subsidiary of China Non-Ferrous Metal Mining Group. Remember that, the company that owns Chambeshi. As a diplomat, I'll not go into American or Chinese relations. At this stage, it's not necessary. What is necessary is for us to discuss the extent of this crisis. What is true about this crisis? What do our people need to know? It's not a time to posture politics. It's just time to tell the truth so that proper decisions are made. If we delve into allegations of corruption, we delve into diplomatic fights between US and China, we'll be lost while our people are dying. So it's important first we deal with the facts around this disaster. So, but what we know so far, on 18th February, a dam collapsed. Part of the dam collapsed. It's a waste dam. It's what they call a leach dam, where they put these toxins, where you're supposed to purify them before you release them into the environment. So, and then the initial reports, clearly the report was underestimated this crisis. There was water shut down to Kitwe and Chilawombwe just for a few days, and the taps were reopened, despite the scale of the pollutants that were introduced into Mwambashi and Kafue River. Sino-Metals Leach Company said the dam held 50,000 tons. I mean, the dam could have lost 50,000 tons. Government's response, you saw they sent in ZAF, and ZAF spilled some lime. But looking at the extent of this contamination, where Drizzt established that looking at the extent of the contamination, it couldn't have been 50,000, is highly underestimated, totally highly underestimated. And so the soil contamination, when they took the samples, the water quality degradation of the water that our people are drinking in Kalulushi, in Ndola, in Kitwe, the water quality degradation was so poor. Then there was presence of heavy metals and heavy metal accumulation. And this becomes very, very serious. Then I went to, just to do a casual search. When they say this is one of the world's worst mining environmental disaster, what are the world's worst environmental disasters? There is Bengshu mine disaster in China, where 1,500 miners lost their lives. 1,500 lost their lives. There is a Teddy River disaster in New Papua Guinea, which also spilled billions of tons of waste into the Ted River, and the scale was also very high. Here they are saying not millions, as we are talking of millions, 1.5 million. Here they are talking of billions. That's a Ted River. That's a, sorry. There is there are two other disasters that I have noted. An odd one in the United Kingdom in 1966 that saw the death of about 6 children because this core pile up, spilled over onto a school. How many people have died in this case? If we spilled 1.5 million metric tons, what have been the reported deaths? Government says there are no reported deaths. What's the scale of the pollutants? Clearly, someone is not telling the truth. What do we need to do? In my view, an independent, fresh audit must be done immediately because Drizzt was contracted by Sinometals. That was already irregular. This should have been a matter by Zema so that the independence from the mine owners is separated. You cannot, an accused murder is on hiring the investigator to investigate the murder, to not go anywhere. In this case, I think Sinometals must be treated as an entity that requires oversight. So this should be essentially a matter between Zema. Zema must look for money before they even surcharge Sinometals for this huge pollution. They must look for an independent audit immediately. We need to know the truth, the scale of the poisoning and pollution of our river. And we need to establish the facts. What are the facts? How much pollutants were introduced in the river? I saw social media debate. They're saying that the report is talking about mercury, uranium. We only have uranium in Siavonga and Solwezi. So what's uranium doing in Kalulushi? There are other people that are trying to puncture. And they're saying this same dam, how much water and pollutants can it hold? What's the size of it to have introduced 1.5 million metric tons? So there is an active debate, but this debate has remained of technocrats as usual. I want to even happy to receive a 800 kwachana kavunga, not knowing that they might have birth defects, that they might die of cancer. Here, what can save our country is the truth. The action of government so far are literally criminal. They should have government must have hired an independent auditor, environmental assessor. They shouldn't have left the responsibility to an entity they are investigating. And what I like about Sinometals is that they have not refused liability. They've accepted there's something wrong they did. That's why the truth is very important. The action is been by government. If government officials been bribed, why are they pushing an agenda that may not be true? Why are we being embarrassed internationally that we've suffered one of the worst environmental disasters? I looked at some other disasters that the world has faced because they are ranking this disaster to that same level. You have the Chernobyl accident in 1986, April 1986, where there was an accident, a nuclear accident at a reactor. That remains, the entire town remains closed, and there were a number of people that died immediately and after. And, the pollution went across, especially Eastern Europe. There is the BP oil rig explosion that happened in April 2010. This is called the Deepwater Horizon that happened in the Gulf of Mexico. President Donald Trump calls it Gulf of America now. Again, BP, the fourth largest investor-owned company after ExxonMobil, Shell, Total Energies, had to pay billions of dollars in punitive damages. How much have we charged Sinometals for this kind of environment? How much have we charged them? BP had to cough up billions of dollars for the environmental damage that they did, the recovery process, the cleaning up process, and the livelihoods that had lost, fishermen and others that had lost opportunity to invest because of this. In this case, 210 million gallons of oil spilled into the Gulf. And if especially older people remember where we saw birds failing to fly because they had been soaked by the oil spill. That was one of the biggest environmental disaster. Then we have the recent one, the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant. There was an earthquake on the sea, that translated into water tsunami coming onto the shore, and then overran the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power station. And by the time they were trying to switch it off, you cannot switch off a nuclear power plant like that. That area since 2011 remains excluded. They've been trying to clean up and switch off the plant since then. Again, billions of dollars were spent. If you have a disaster that is being compared to those levels, what has been our response? What, ladies and gentlemen, has been our response? Our response is this. Just check our response as government.
He drinks a full cup of tap water supplied by Nkana Water and Sanitation Company, an assurance that it is safe. Since the pollution of Kafue River in February this year by Sino Metals, there has been assertions that the water may not be safe. And Ministry of Information and Media Permanent Secretary Tawo Kawana was on the ground to prove those assumptions wrong. The PS information toured the Nkana Water Treatment Plant and Storage Facility. At Bulangililo Treatment Plant, Mr. Kawana was taken through the operations and measures the utility has taken after the pollution.
No time did we supply polluted water. Then we continued monitoring the water quality, and in the meantime we introduced pre-chlorination to help us precipitate the heavy metals.
He later interacted with residents of Buchi Township, where he assured them that the water is safe for use.
We will rest assured that our people, particularly those in Kitwe, Chambeshi and Kalurushi, are consuming water that is safe. We have seen and we have been taken through by Nkana Water how the water is gotten from its raw form, directly from the river, taken through the treatment plant, treated, tested, satisfied, and after that satisfaction is when they pump it out to the people to be able to access.
Nkana Water Supply and Sanitation Company Managing Director stated that the heavy metal levels have reduced.
pH was dealt with using liming. But for heavy metals, you notice that the river is a self-cleansing body. You may want to understand that it does not mean that there is absence of materials in the water, especially raw water. It will be there, but that's why there is a treatment process.
The province public health specialist said random water testing is done weekly.
Samples that were taken during the period after the closure, I think they had met the standards, the WHO standards, and the water was then piped.
The residents are happy with government's assurance that the water is safe.
Naona tumfa bwino sana kaidi problem twale umfa na madesert ameshtari bwino nomba pana umfa bwino kaidi na ba shwada tu ameshtari bwino.
We went to Chambeshi, where they draw the water from Chambeshi. The intake is independent or on a higher elevation down the Kafue River than where the accident.
In February this year, a tailing dam at Sino Metals copper mine, owned by a Chinese corporation, collapsed, causing pollution in the Kafue River. The contamination led to significant losses for local residents, including damaged crops, livestock, and unsafe water that could no longer be consumed. Today, government provided an update on the pollution during a press briefing. Minister of Water Development, Collins Nzovu, described the water as now safe for consumption.
Of this water. The most important parameters, as you may know, for water quality include cyanide, manganese, zinc, uranium. Few months have reviewed that all the tests, all the results are within of our citizens. All the points and all the times. Remember, the chief government spokesperson has clearly stated that over 200 samples have been collected and analyzed.
And Minister of Information and Media, Cornelius Mwitwa, said no death has been recorded as a result of the pollution.
Routine surveillance is ongoing and no confirmed case or cases of acute heavy metal poisoning have been detected or reported.
Minister of Green Economy was also present at the briefing.
We gave adequate information to the country. We gave what we thought was necessary, and we are here again to give information.
A similar incident has also happened in Kanchibia.
Located in Kanchibia district, a river that has been polluted because of the mining activities that are happening in Mpika district, to be more specific, from the Kanyelele gold mine, where we have miners that are mining and directly washing the gold as they are mining with a very harmful substance called mercury. They are washing their gold and they are doing this cleansing of their gold right in our river source, where our river is coming from, that area. That is where the water flows from. And
Justin Banda, Sun FM TV News, Lusaka.
At the heart of this is casualty number one. The Zema Managing Director General, Godfrey Mwinga, is said to have resigned. There are allegations that he was involved in corruption in this matter with the company that did this audit, and that there was conflict of interest. Now, there was celebration. Government hired Mr. Mwinga from Cape Town, highly qualified man, and all of a sudden, he has resigned. He was forced to resign. Did he resign on his own? I've seen a WhatsApp message being circulated where it is said to have been written by Mr. Mwinga, and I hope he did write it, that good afternoon, and I trust that news of my departure from Zema reached you. It was a pleasure having worked and interact with many of you. Unfortunately, it was time for me to move on to emerging opportunities. We have to be given more time to say bye properly, but circumstances didn't permit. I can only wish you well and encourage you to support your new leadership in executing such mammoth mandate. Now, this appeared to be a text message to his team, his staff, and he wrote the one they're saying a virtual resignation. What is happening in this matter is that every time there is a cover-up to this magnitude, there'll be casualties, there'll be fallouts, so that the truth is buried. We demand the truth. What happened on 18th February? How much toxins was released in the environment? What is the danger it has posed to all of us that drink water from the Kafue River? Let me invite, cause my number is now on. Let's begin to interact from you. Let me hear from you. What are your views?
Ambassador Emmanuel Mwamba confronts the truth behind what may be Zambia's darkest environmental catastrophe, the collapse of the Copperbelt Dam that poisoned the lifeline of our nation, the Kafue River. From the Copperbelt through Central Province and into Lusaka, more than 7 million Zambians depend on this river for survival. Today, that very lifeline carries death. Who bears the blame? Did the government of the Republic of Zambia commit an act of treasonable negligence by failing to protect its people? Or did a Chinese mining giant unleash one of the most inhuman?
Let's hear from you. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
This one is very important. It is your brother, Kelvin Kafue.
Yes.
From Australia. Now, why this one is important is that I work in the mining field. So today you have to give me this time. And I want to explain something about how a country like Australia, I've worked for Santos, one of the biggest mining companies. And the way we treat our sites, I go to a place called Gunyela, which is north of Muramba, where the biggest coal mines are. You need to understand that even dropping a plastic is contamination that will cause repercussions. A simple plastic, my brother. So this level, and I remember in 2016, we had a small truck that fell over, which had the acid. You know, once we're drilling sites, mine sites, we get back water with heavy metal, which can actually burn your hands. We had a simple accident in the yard. It had to be shut down. A simple truck, 15,000 liter truck. So, when you look at what these people are doing, no, sorry, I shouldn't say that. And then these people are talking. You imagine to say, have these people got any consideration? Because when you look at the repercussions, for mining thing, we are blue-collar workers. The way we are told to maintain, and I can't believe China has been allowed to get away with this because of our government. But honestly, I understand where you're coming from. You need to make sure that this disaster has been looked into, and we're going to make sure if they haven't looked into it, they're all going to pay for it. And what? We're going to lock them up in the end. I swear to God. But I think maybe I'm too angry to talk, Ramwamba. Maybe let me leave other callers to call you.
Thank
because
you.
I work in the same field.
Yeah. Well, Chanda Kafue from Australia works in the mining sector in Australia. He has just given an example of a simple truck small accident and how they treated the spillage and the entire mining operation shut down. What about this matter of this scale? What do you think? So I invite your cause and let me play this one. Someone has sent an audio. You can send an audio. Let me just read this. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Good evening, Ambassador.
Good evening.
My name is Nancy. I'm calling you from the Copper Belt.
Yes, Nancy.
Yeah, this issue of the pollution that happened in February by Sino Metals. Sorry, please allow me to take a bit of time on this one.
Yeah.
This heavy metal contamination is the most serious part of this issue, though I've noticed that the focus has been on the acid levels, people talking about the pH levels have stabilized. That is the easier problem to handle for the water. But then the acidity that has been introduced in the soils is something that will take much longer to cure, and it means the loss of livelihood for all the farmers around there. And then also the exposure to that is going to have serious health impact on all the people who have been exposed. And when it comes to the heavy metals, these can even take up to thousands of years to actually reach safe levels. Wow. Most of them, the WHO standards is that ideally there should be zero in, the presence should be zero in water that is supposed to be used for drinking or human consumption or animals. Now, what we have not heard from our government, which has been telling us, and in Ghana Water telling us that they are conducting tests regularly, they have not told us the levels of those heavy metals. They are just saying it's in acceptable standards. What are those levels that they have? Their test, yes, what the tests that they've done, they should publicize the results so that we are able to compare. Is it really within acceptable standards? And exposure to heavy metals will lead to things like cancer, different types of cancers, skin cancers. You know what has happened to Kafue, the lead pollution there. That's a heavy metal. Now, we don't know of what was what contaminated the land and the soil. We don't even know which heavy metals are present in there. In copper processing, it will be the copper itself. Those are tailings, so they contain some copper. They can contain arsenic, they can be zinc, lead, nickel, all these. And also the action of the sino metals to tell people who compensate you, but sign this document which says you waive any right to take legal action against us. That is preying on the vulnerable and ignorant people, for the lack of a better term. Because what if tomorrow you come across information like what we are coming across now by other independent bodies, that the tests they've done are showing all these dangerous things? So if someone had already signed for a 2,000 kwacha compensation and they find out this and they start having these health challenges, these we won't see them today. So it's actually very disturbing that people in government either are ignorant themselves or they take us to be so ignorant that they can go and drink water and say the water is safe because I'm drinking it today. We all know that these things, the health impact is not all going to be immediate. The ecosystem has been affected. Aquatic life has been affected. There's a lot of damage which needs to be properly assessed, and then to treat heavy metals. Water should not lie to us. We are not all people who are not scientists. There are many scientists in Zambia. We know these things. What method are they using to treat heavy metals to make it safe for people to consume that water? We should be honest, because this is our country. These are people's lives we're dealing with. Even the loss of one life is one too many. So it is very disappointing that we are going to be hearing this serious information from people outside. They are more concerned than our own government and the utility companies. So this is a very serious problem which we should not let die a premature death. People have to be made accountable for it. Those Kalushi residents who have decided to take Sino Metals to court for $420 million should be commended and should be supported by every well-meaning Zambian. And I appeal to the legal minds to come through and support them in this. It's a very good tort case, and they should even go for more than that. They should ask for billions, because the damage will not be quantified today. We are yet to see the cancers which are going to come out from us who are exposed to drinking that water. Thank you very much, Ambassador. Let me not take so much time. I'm sure others also want to call in.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Yeah, good evening, Ambassador Mwamba.
Good evening.
This is Zefeni. I'm calling from Lusaka.
Yes.
It's sad that our government, the UPND government, as usual, they always take casual when dealing with matters that affect the Zambian people. It's not the first time the UPND government have been treating such kind of issues not to take it serious, because they think that Zambians, when they voted them to power, was for them to enrich themselves and not to protect the Zambian, as the constitution of Zambia that they must protect according to how they sewn in to the constitution. This issue of environment, Comrade Mwamba, is a serious matter which every Zambian we should speak about it. Look at how international, the way they are talking about it. Meanwhile, we Zambians, we have been the government, I think they knew about it. Had it not been for, again, I commend U.S. Ambassador Michael Gonzalez, who has once again, to open the minds of the Zambians. You remember, he's the one who brought the cyber issues, and again, he has brought the issues where he told the American people to leave Copperbelt because there was that serious issue of environmental issues. But when you look at our government, it's so casual in doing things. This issue, it will affect us in the next 5 years, and people will start dying like the way it is. And when you look at this, is the government which has not invested in health sector, Now, when people start dying, start having complications, where are they going to land? Look at how they have failed to complement NEMA. Now, with this, I think I also call upon our legal minds, let them come forth so that Zambia can be protected, and this government should be brought to book. And indeed, I commend Comrade Mwamba for bringing this topic which is affecting us. And the Zambian government, they should hire independent people again to revisit so that we know exactly what happened. Because those metals which have gone in Kafue River, and that Kafue River, we in Lusaka, we drink the same water. And look at, if someone goes into that and injures himself, what will happen? Those metals which have gone there, they will be there for permanent, and they are going to damage our rivers. So the truth of the matter is that this government, we should hold it accountable. Let the government come in. And in my conclusion, the president is quiet. This is a national disaster. He was supposed to come out and declare a national disaster because almost 7 million people will be affected. I thank you, Comrade Mwamba. Keep it up, my brother. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The Kafue River is 1,576 kilometers. It starts from the Democratic Republic of Congo, comes through the Copper Belt, through the Kafue National Park. It joins the Zambezi in Chirundu after Kariba. There's a text message here.
Good evening, Ambassador. I will not even hide my name. This is Tirimbike Zulu, a resident of Kitwe. Ambassador, for starters, it's very disappointing with the way government has handled this matter. This is a matter of huge magnitudes, and we wanted government to be in the forefront of protecting us, the citizens. But they seem to be siding with this careless investor, if I may say. You know, from...
Hello, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
My name is CJ. I'm calling you from New Jersey.
Yes, CJ.
Ambassador Mwamba, I'm actually sobbing right now. Looking at, the negligency of our government. I'm so sad because the long-term effect of that disaster cannot actually be, itemized or be in a place where we're able to quantify the danger. I'm looking at Kafue River. When Kafue River is affected, our tourism is affected. When Kafue River is affected, then our people all along that river are in trouble. Lusaka itself. And you have a government. I feel sorry for Bataukawana Bakwatomwe Wakwatlirani and Kakisho. Banwako Nami here and he's saying it's safe. We do not have a government that really cares for us. We have a government that runs on propaganda and lies. How can you bury such a disaster? How can you bury such a thing? For God's sake. That was too much. For once, can they think about the Zambian people? Okay, now we understand they are selling power. But on this issue, surely, honestly, can we be in a place where you have a government who can actually purify uranium using lime? Those heavy metals, even if you talk about the acidity, when you look at the amount of, toxins that were actually, that flowed into the rivers, we don't have serious people. If we had a serious government, most of these guys would have resigned on moral ground. This is a disaster. And the worst thing, this has actually, attracted international media. And we still have a government that is quiet, that runs on lies and lies against the truth. What we need, like you've stated, we need the truth. When people have the right information and the truth, they'll decide. If you tell people water is safe and they continue to consume that water, out of ignorance, a lot of things are going to happen. But if you warn people and tell them, this is what has happened, this water is not safe, they'll be able to decide what to do. Now, what will 800 Kwacha do? It's so hateful that people can be treated like this. I'm really sorry, Ambassador, it's so painful.
It is painful, my brother. It is painful, and we need the truth. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'd like to remain anonymous for now.
Thank you, Anonymous. Make your contributions.
I would like to address the issue of this national disaster. What strikes me as really, really heartless is the silence, considering the
Hello, caller. Are you there? Hello, caller. Oh, looks like we lost our caller there. Let's see if we can get back.
From the time this mining accident happened, due to negligence by the mine owners, there's been no firm word from the government reprimanding this mine and tasking them to take certain measures. Some of the complications might not be seen today, but they'll be seen in the afterlife or in the after years. Who will be there now? Maybe by then these mine owners would have even made their money and left. Already, some of us, we've started paying extra medical bills, started paying extra visits to the clinic after that accident. We are not saying that is what has caused, but this is what the new trend that we are going through. Always children will be crying about stomach aches. Always children will be crying about dizziness. My last born son always complains, no, I feel like my heart is pumping fast just after that accident. Now, why is government being protective? When did they carry out that health check around the affected communities for them to know that, no, we are okay even after that accident? I don't think they're being fair on us, the citizens and residents of the affected areas. Can they compel Sinometals to pay for experts to come and check the after effects of that disaster so that we know in which way we are affected and we can take remedial measures to prolong our lives? Otherwise, we are dying slowly, minus anyone coming to our aid. Can government take this matter seriously? I shudder to think what could have happened to the mine owners if they did this careless act where they come from in China there. They even know what could have happened to them. So can the government do the right thing here without shielding the careless investors and ensure that the people are protected? We need to know the state of our health after that accident. I submit.
Hello, caller. We lost you there. I hope you heard.
Yes, I am absolutely persuaded there should be medications that should be given to the entire population by now. There should be measures that should have been taken, stringent measures, especially with mothers and children. There should have been so many things. Everyone has been suffering severe cough infections, severe flus, strange episodes with lung infections. Nothing is being done. The cherry on the cake was the evacuation instruction from the American embassy. Well, we don't have anywhere else to go. This is our home. This is our land. And how do you treat people with such contempt, with legitimate health risks? No, this is a form of manslaughter. And while it is recommended that all manner of things should be taken in terms of preventative cures and things like that, it's just mind-boggling how there's just total silence. These waters go into other countries, so it's an international crisis. Where the government fails, the international community have absolutely stated they will help. There's no excuse. There's no excuse. And I pray that the international community will step in once we do our part and involve the international courts of justice. Because UN does have guidelines on such disasters. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Indeed, many are saying this is a national disaster and it has not been treated as such. It has been treated as a sideshow. And this is where, despite the damage, this is where the concerns are.
Catastrophe that's been followed by an alleged government and industry cover-up. The disaster at a copper mine in Zambia earlier this year has seen a toxic cocktail of chemicals spill into a river which millions of Zambians live alongside. Channel 4 News has seen a report by an independent body setting out how the true scale of the accident at the mine, which is Chinese-owned, has been suppressed. Our chief correspondent, Alex Thompson, has this exclusive report.
It's February the 18th. An environmental disaster on an historic scale has begun. At a copper mine in Zambia, owned by the Chinese company Sino Metals, a dam holding back a reservoir of toxic waste has collapsed. What some experts claim...
We have a caller. Yes, caller.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mamba.
Good afternoon. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
I'm calling from US, Anonymous.
Yeah, thank you, Anonymous.
My brother, Mr. Mamba, we can't be surprised. We have seen from where we are coming from. They started from the time they were campaigning live. Even now, they can even go now to the health of the people. When people outside comes and even tell us what the problem that we have in our country, the problem in Copper Belt, we expect the government to be very serious on that one, because it will affect even the generation coming. Those children who are born now in Zambia, those who are taking all those things, and even those who are there, it will affect them. But it is like government doesn't mind. The only thing that they are doing is politics. So, Mr. Mwamba, I think Zambians can also take the government to court for what they have done, because in other countries, I don't think they can leave them walk freely like that, because they're even coming fooling us in Copper Belt, telling people like that. Mr. Mwamba, we're asking if there is another way of doing it, to sue the government, because in other countries they sue government and the people are paid. If there is a provision of doing that, Mr. Mwamba, to help us so that we can sue the government. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Has been suppressed. Our chief correspondent, Alex Thompson, has this exclusive report.
It's February the 18th. An environmental disaster on an historic scale has begun. At a copper mine in Zambia, owned by the Chinese company Sino Metals, a dam holding back a reservoir of toxic waste has collapsed. What some experts claim is one of the worst and least reported mining accidents ever has been unleashed. Matched, they say, by one of the worst government and industry cover-ups. It is spewing lethal chemical poison, arsenic, cyanide, uranium, lead, mercury and more. Soon, slicks of dead fish line the river shore. Nearly 2/3 of Zambia's 20 million people live along the vast Kafue river system.
It is an environment.
Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Good evening, Ambassador. This is Munkonde.
Yes, Mr. Munkonde.
Mkwaya, Ambassador Kwena, Mutur yapitirira katuishofo twala achita, because umi kuli bwafya mutende fyonse fye, so tulelira fye kuli mwemwe baliko onge fina muletu wafo please, twisule ni kumenza. Ofa tuinga chita. Ama international communities of ngatwa. Na aliyo inene filamba fyali sapona. Okona mwene abantu wa magumi. Ayuwino. Wabapera. Tumasaka. Nga. No. Tapale fo tuinga chita protect abantu abashire misakamana banshi tuinga songa uruwani bwapitirira ba ambassador turero mbafe kuli imwe chiterimo involved more international communities abenga fo amapuwa Zambians since ba government naba itemwa chama bena Zambia bafwa ba government bena baba pachikuna.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Munkonge from New London in South Africa. Today we are discussing the mine disaster that occurred on 18th February, where a leaching dam collapsed, spewing metals into and pollutants into Mwambashi and Kafue River. The scale has alarmed the international community. You saw what the American ambassador said, that even just being near the river was a danger, and he called for evacuation of all Americans. If Americans need to be evacuated, I have cautioned that this is not a China-America war. I think that Sinometals is an independent professional company. They should be held liable. They are a subsidiary of, the other company that owns Chambeshi. They should be held liable. And Zema should do its best. Now we understand that in light of this crisis, the Zema Director General quickly resigned, and he has feared for his life because the report was damning. And I think that government intended to cover it up. The Director General, in his own thoughts, recruited by themselves, nobody else, recruited by themselves. And he fled. He's gone back to Cape Town where he was. They want to accuse him of corruption. I think it's not true. It's that they are reputable people, credible people that don't want to participate in the cover-up. I suspect this DG didn't want to take it to be part of the crime that the minister, probably his PS, and Sinometals, the casual approach they had taken. He didn't want to participate, and he resigned from that office. This is a very serious matter, and government has not treated this matter very well. So please call. Today we're discussing this matter. Please, if you have any thoughts about it. Someone says, Ambassador Emmanuel Mwamba, it is true that the Director General Zema has resigned. Government is not treating this matter seriously. The PS and the Minister from the Environment should have immediately been fired in light of the scandal and in the manner that it has been dealt with. The Minister of Green Economy and Environment should not take this matter, has not taken this matter seriously. Who will be held accountable? So clearly we are laughing a stock across the country, across the world. A tailing dam collapses, and we are treating it like it's just an ordinary spill. We are totally not serious about this crisis. And then the casual approach to cover up, where you send government officials, you send government officials to the area they drink water. Probably it could even have been bottled water. Another one says the farmers, their land cannot be cultivated. Those that are just talking about acidic contamination. So umushiribari yocha, and the water still remains with high toxicity. Yeah. And there are some people that got burnt, someone is saying, the water they bathed, but it's like the media have participated in the cover-up. The media have not exposed the immediate effect from the epicenter and what happened. And there are people again that have complained of health concerns in Lufwanyama, which borders Mpongwe, Kwamulenga compound. You know, many of them are seriously reported very sick. The toxins are severe. Diarrhea is every day. Body weakness and all. All these have not been reported in the media. And he's saying, another caller is saying, just go to Kitwe Central Hospital and they'll confirm to you these ailments that has affected the communities around, Kafue River in Kitwe and Kalulushi. Thank you very much for this. But government says it is okay. Government says everything is okay. Why are you worried? Like they say, when we tell them that there'll be maize shortage, why are they exporting? They just said, no, you're just being bitter. Every time something happens, load shedding will end by June. Why are you bitter? Just be careful, just quiet. Load shedding will go away. They are treating this matter the same way. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Okay. Good evening, Ambassador.
Good evening.
So I think mine is to just, this is anonymous. I want to stay anonymous, and I'm calling in from the land of AI.
Thank you.
But mine is just to point out the fact that I think the criminal in this whole thing is government. This government, wherever we got them from, they have lost a mandate to protect the people of Zambia. They have lost that mandate. It is embarrassing. Look, I don't think the Chinese have failed to solve this problem. But there's no drive from this government to make sure that this problem is attended to. It's a problem, not Isanga. Not Isanga. There's a pollution case that has taken place. It's there. What we would have expected is for government to step in and take some steps, put pressure on the investor. Even government itself needed to be able to put some money together and invest into this thing. This problem is receiving very little attention. Complain about it. How he was treated 7 years ago and so on and so forth. Meanwhile, people are actually, as we can hear from other callers and people are sending in messages, people are saying this is a catastrophe that's going to stay with us for years. But they never can take a complaint, no, me, great magnitude. And this government has lost their mandate to govern this nation. This is a problem where we could have seen leadership, but look at them. I doubt the Chinese can fail to, do something about this problem. I'm sure the Chinese government would be able to say, look, let's do something, let's fix this. This is a problem. Everybody, the international community, everybody would be happy to come in and say, let's solve this problem. It's like we drink that same water and people are using millions of people. One can stay away and say, we won't do anything about it. The problem is the people in government. These people who put in government needs to remove them soon. You follow us, Ambassador.
Yeah.
Let me end there.
Our people are annoyed, are moved by the lack of casual response by government. This one says, this is Zambia's worst environmental betrayal. What has happened in Zambia isn't just pollution, it's betrayal. Toxic heavy metals like lead, mercury, arsenic are flowing freely in our rivers, poisoning our soils, poisoning our food chain. And our people, the Kafue River alone, touches millions of lives across provinces and cities. This is a national emergency and should be treated as such. Instead of spinning it, where Cornelius Mwetwa Tabo Kawana and the Green Economy Minister, they are spinning. This is not a matter of spinning. This is a matter of life. And then you parade our people, giving them 800 kwacha. This is an insult to our people. This is not compensation. It's part of a criminal syndicate. This is an environmental violence. When power shifts, all those who lied, who covered this up, must face justice, not out of vengeance, but out of principle. Zambia deserves better leaders who will protect, not pollute its people. We will not be fooled again. He assigned his name, but I don't know if he wanted me to say his name, because in many cases people are... another one calling from AI says, we have a report from the South African firm. How can we compel Cornelius Mwetwa and his fellow ministers to apologize both to the American government and to our people for attempting to make them look liars? How can we escalate this? Thank you very much. Something we should all think about. Yeah. Thank you. This is... okay, this one is talking about the late president's funeral. We are not discussing that matter today. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Good afternoon or good evening, Honorable. This is Robert.
Robert.
From the UK.
Good evening. Yes, Robert.
Yeah, good. What a dark day. It's a dark few days. It's been this government that we have. It's really a government that's taken our country to the dark times, and it's like everything that our previous leaders have said. You know, on Microsoft said under 5 politicians, and we can see it. The role of the government is very, very simple. The role of the government is to make sure that they safeguard citizens from external and internal threats. And from what we have is this government is failing in all those areas, you know, and they have no consideration for the damage. Like one contributor said that they know that most of these consequences in terms of the health of people, it's not going to happen now. And they're probably aware that it's not going to be our problem when people start having health issues. But where's our conscience? You know, and some of these people, they even go to church and they pray and they lead people and they just pretend like everything is okay. Like what you've just said, I think there have to be a commission, you know, like an investigation to really find out exactly what happened. And all these people, if they've misled people and they've lied and they've been corrupt, we need to make sure that they don't hold any position of power, because they just don't care about our country and the poor people that live along that river. You know, this is going to be a disaster for years to come, and it's up to the Zambians now to see it clearly that these people do not deserve to be in power. And there's a reason why Hakainde Hichilema lost elections so many times, because God was actually saying no. But we pushed it, and here we are. You know, he was in Kitwe just a few days ago, and you know, he was telling people that if you open my heart, all you could see is the love that I have for you. Where's the love?
And he was in Kitwe. He never even mentioned this disaster in any way.
Yes, and you're telling people that if you can see, you can see the love that's in my heart, and it's an insult to Zambians. You know, this is the West government, and we need to change it, and we need to start all over again. Like Mr. Kasonso said, that UPND should be shut down. It's true. It's like a bad shop that sells expired products. And all you have to do is just close it, lock it, and throw the keys away. They should never be given any opportunity to run our country. Thank you so much, Bamamba.
Thank you very much. So much. Thank you. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Honorable Wamba. This is Don Oscar. I'm calling from Italy.
Yes,
Good
sir.
evening, and thanks for allowing me to participate on this serious but important conversation. I would start by, and I greet also my people. I greet my friends. I have friends from all different political parties, different tribes, and that has been my mission, and it's going to be my mission until God would invite me or call me to join the heavenly kingdom. So I'm greeting and I sympathize with our friends, our colleagues in the Copper Belt. A lot of people, just like you have been reading messages, Mr. Mwamba, also we have been forwarded by messages, hundreds and hundreds of messages. Now, on this issue, sometimes I've been collaborating or participating on the political issue, the governance system in our country, the desire to change a government so that we find someone who can put the interests of the people at the center. But on this issue, I have to mention and state clearly that this has nothing to do with politics.
Yeah.
This issue has nothing to do with the politics. So it has nothing to do with the bitterness. No, you don't support the government. You don't support this party. You don't like UPND. This issue has something to do with health. Now, health is so vital. A nation which has good health can produce. A nation who has a bad health can never produce. Allow me to recall to the Zambian people, I know the Zambian people are so wise, they know what I want to allude to. I will take you back to 1986. 1986, by that time, Honorable Mwamba, is the time the Holy Father, Pope John Paul II, arrived in Kitwe, and at the airport there in Kitwe, in Deke village somewhere there, he had a very, very beautiful rally there, not rally, but a mass, and a meeting with the Zambian people. I remember very well, 1986. But in that year, 1986, something tragic happened in a place which was called Soviet Union by then, Soviet Union. And now we are calling that place now Ukraine. The key town where a disaster of such a magnitude happened was a town in Ukraine, which was called, and up to today, I think it is called Chernobyl. I know this story, I think you know this story, Honorable Mwamba, but for history purposes, to understand the gravity of this situation, we need also to take some references. Now, Chernobyl, today it is called Ukraine, the area, there was a disaster, some loss of uranium and some loss of toxic chemicals. So they had to hire high-equipped and technological assistants and doctors, scientists, and experts to go and bonify the area. Now, what the scientists they discovered was that toxic material which was released in the air there in Chernobyl, Ukraine, is very, very difficult to bonify. Up to today, this is 2025, they have enclosed. In that area, it is not allowed to cultivate, to grow any grain, to grow any vegetables. Because if you eat vegetables grown in that area, you risk to have future or immediate serious illnesses. Now, I come back to our country. I repeat, this is not political. This regards the health of the people, and especially the people there in the Copper Belt, or in Kitwe in particular, or Mufulira or Chingola. Now, seriously, the government needs to put in a serious team to investigate. If in Chernobyl 1986 up to today, the toxicity continues, what has happened in Kitwe can never be tolerated and say, well, okay, I'm drinking water, is safe. The consequences, there are immediate consequences, and they are long-term consequences. Babies. Imagine of a woman who is expecting a baby and probably drank from Kafue River. Just imagine. And this is what I'm going to tell to the Minister of Health, the Minister of Green Economy, the Minister of Mines. Just imagine a woman who is pregnant at the Kitwe Central Hospital, or at a clinic, or at home. Just imagine our mothers or our fathers who are along Ndeke village, Luangwa, Mulenga, Tamfinsa. Just imagine if that pregnant woman drank from a Kafue River. Do you think we are going to observe today the repercussion of such toxicity? So, for this reason, I think the government should show signs that they are on the part of the people. And they are not only concerned in continuing business with the Chinese or other business partners. But I think on this matter, and you have just said it, the President Hakainde was in Kitwe last week on Sunday. I was shocked, I have to say. I was shocked. He never talked about it. I was shocked. He's a father of the nation. He's the president of everybody. Even our Minister of Copper Belt, who was introducing him in the church, introducing members of parliament in that church, they could not talk about this. I thought the Minister of the Copper Belt was going to tell the president, Your Excellency, we have a tragedy here. Can you assure the people? Your word is important. Assure the people that they are served. It's not a question of showing on a TV set that someone is drinking a cup of water and we don't even know where that cup of water came from. We could ask an old woman in Mulenga compound there to go and draw the water alongside Kafue, nearby the grass, the bound of the river, with those remains of the toxicity there, so that the minister can test that water. And the one who can go and draw that water must not be a person who is working the government. Just ask maybe a person from the opposition party. They go and draw water for the minister, and to see if he's going to drink that one.
Thank you very much, Father Donosco.
And
Thank
I
you.
repeat, thank you so much. And I repeat, this is not political. This is the matter of the health of the citizens. Thank you very much.
I'm glad that Father Donosco from Italy is a Catholic priest. The church mother bodies have issued a statement regarding this matter of pollution, and they express concern that government has not handled this crisis very well. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
I'm Mlenga from New Jersey. Good afternoon, Honorable.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon from New Jersey.
I just have a question for the Zambians at large.
Mm-hmm.
Zambian people, my fellow country people, did you vote for this government to serve you, or did you vote for this government to kill you? Because there's no way this kind of a thing will happen in your country and you are sitting without saying anything like all is well. Like all is well. You can't even voice out. And then on top of that, they come and give you change to say it's your compensation. They compensate people with that peanut of change. How can you agree to get that kind of a change when your life is at risk? Because if those things it had happened in the Western world, today you would have been a millionaire because they will compensate them according to the problem that is at hand. You don't have good water. You don't have a good environment where you are. If that thing happened wherever that company comes from, you think they'll be working today? They'll be in deep shit. The media will be all over, social media. Now, the Zambian media is even quiet about it, playing like all is well. Zambians, please, it's time we wake up and stand up. We shouldn't allow to be killed or to be taken for granted. I submit, Honorable.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
With all district ambassador, I'm very disappointed with the president, especially. Nobody else. Because, you know, this man has been behaving like Zambians are his own enemies. Because you cannot see a head of state who does not like his own citizens in this way. You never see him defending Zambians. All the time he defends foreigners. Is he the president for foreigners? Look how the way he even treats his own people. He doesn't even greet them or giving a handshake, even a mere hug. Please, let's put this man out. This man is not Zambian in the way that he behaves. Thank you, Ambassador.
Thank you very much. All of you are very annoyed about this matter. And government doesn't want us to discuss. They want it relegated to the silence so that this disaster can quickly pass. But here we are, embarrassed by first an international audit, then embarrassed by international reports. The scale of disaster, the negligence by government is criminal. The failure to do a thorough report on this matter. Drizzt has done it. Government should embrace that report and face the consequences. You cannot participate in a cover-up of all your people that will vote you in power. How do you do that? How do you allow, that's why someone is saying they don't love you because they are taking away your life and you are watching. Mwabantu wakwalesa, ngatuachila chita gossip pano, there would have been hundreds and hundreds of people. But when we are discussing something that affects your life and your livelihood, I was sure. But ngatuleba tuyachitilefi, all of you would have been here participating in the gossip. Let us be serious as a country on these serious matters.
He drinks a full cup of tap water supplied by Nkana Water and Sanitation Company, an assurance that it is safe. Since the pollution of Kafue River in February this year by Sino Metals, there has been assertions that the water may not be safe. And Ministry of Information and Media Permanent Secretary Tawo Kawana was on the ground to prove those assumptions wrong. The PS information toured the Nkana Water Treatment Plant and Storage Facility. At Bulangililo Treatment Plant, Mr. Kawana was taken through the operations and measures the utility has taken after the pollution.
No time did we supply polluted water. Then we continued monitoring the water quality, and in the meantime we introduced pre-chlorination to help us precipitate the heavy metals.
He later interacted with residents of Buchi Township, where he assured them that the water is safe for use.
We will rest assured that our people
particularly those in Kitwe, Chambeshi, and Karulushi, are consuming water that is safe. We have seen and we have been taken through by Nkana water, how the water is gotten from its raw form, directly from the river, taken through the treatment plant, treated, tested, satisfied, and after that satisfaction is when they pump it out to the people to be able to access.
Nkana Water Supply and Sanitation Company Managing Director stated that the heavy metal levels have reduced.
pH was... Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Okay, this is from Livingston.
Yes, Wamwewa.
Ambassador, thank you so much. Okay, first come, Charo. I think everyone is aware about what's happening in the country. But my concern really, if we try to access information, we are understanding and following what is happening. Now, my worry is the information. How far is it going? Grassroots information, but quarter. We want to have the punch up an economy feed. Now we should have the Kuma areas where there is this accident. Are they aware of what's happening there? How is the information getting to the grassroots? Because the information getting to the grassroots, the problem will be very difficult to contain. The other thing is, this problem is not a political problem.
No, but Father Oscar. Father Oscar.
Political problem, health problem. If you take Minister of Health, from Minister of Health, Permanent Secretary, then Director, and then the Permanent Secretary, this one should be, this position should be of a technocrat who understands and knows how the Minister of Works functions. Whichever permanent secretary in the Minister of Health, the problem why is it that even the Minister of Health is not even talking about it? Who is managing the Minister of Health? And then the other thing is that like this is an accident. It is more to do with health than even politics. Even if I'm a politician, I think they would want to interact with the health population. Why is it that such an issue of such magnitude can still get not to be reported adequately? Because right now, what we were expecting from government maybe is to start warning people on how to handle this calamity in terms of water, how to do what, to prepare that people can are safe and in good health. But now, what is the direction now for the government, and what should people do in these areas?
Thank you very much. Today we're discussing a disaster, a catastrophe, they're saying is one of the worst in the world, one of the worst mine environmental accident in the world. 1.5 million metric tons of toxins were introduced in the Mwambashi and Kafue River. And because of the amount of the toxins, I think it should have been declared a national disaster. We don't know the extent and scale of the damage that has been done. And I think we demand that government must release the Drizzt report. They have a habit of hiding reports, and they'll just say they've given them to law enforcement agencies and nothing happens. The Director General, Zema Director General, who was recently recruited, given a 3-year contract, is barely, I think, into his first year or second year. He has also fled, resigned, and probably we don't know what the pressure Could be. We don't know what the pressure was. I wish that I could speak to him to understand. Has he resigned because people were willing and determined to cover this up? Why has he resigned from a lucrative job as Director General? Is he so conscious that he didn't want to participate in the fraud and in the literally killing of our people? What could have been the reason? This report, this Drizzt report, why is government keen to scandalize it? And like I stated, Sino Metals have not refused culpability. They have not refused that this is their responsibility. I think what is the problem is a government that is not willing to face the issue as it is. Government must face the issue, understand the scale of the crisis, then put on the table what needs to be done. But if you bury your head in the sand, you will not find a solution. Government in this case has squarely to blame. ZEMA is a regulatory authority. ZEMA should hire independent assessors environmental assessors who should do an audit of our land and our waters and demonstrate the extent of the pollutants that were introduced in that river. And like someone said, the trouble with heavy metals is they don't go away for hundreds of years. So you are poisoning people for generations, for toxicity, for the acid. That's okay, you can put lime and restore the pH levels, but you cannot treat the presence of heavy metals with a lime. No, it's not possible, you cannot. The report says to cure this crisis that is facing Kafue River, it would require up to 100 trucks a day for the next 365 days. Every day there should be 100 of trucks dumping lime and other something that should help in restoring that water. 100 trucks a day for the next 1 year. That's a scale. How much money is required? If our Nensu, when I looked at all the disasters, they go in, they assess, they put a budget to it, and they look for the money. Either they make you pay for it, or they look for money to do the cleanup. You can't bury your head in the sand in the manner that this government has done. What this government has done is criminal as usual, criminal, and it has put the lives of over 7 million people at risk. God bless you. Today, there are a few things that I needed to say, and I didn't say them at the beginning of the broadcast. I was saddened to learn of the passing of Bishop Ambassador Stephen Mwale. He was ambassador to Malawi and Botswana. He saved, is a man of God, a gospel minister from the fraternity of the Pentecostal Assemblies of God. I personally interacted with him. This is after President Frederick Chiluba was in retirement, and this man, Ambassador Stephen M. Mwale, was always with Dr. Chiluba. At that time, there were few friends. He went with him in the cold, in the rain, in the heat, to churches, to funerals, to courtrooms, and he sat for many hours with Dr. Chiluba. He was such a pillar. And I was saddened to learn the death of Ambassador Stephen M. Mwale. My condolences to his dear wife and the family and the boys and everyone else, and also to the family of the Pentecostal Assemblies of God over this deep loss. May his soul rest in eternal peace. Many people wanted me to comment about the expelled MP from Mafinga, Robert Chavinga, who's issuing threats against people in the diaspora. We'll discuss another day over Akaka Muntwaka and his insults, and and claims he speaks in alliance with President Hakainde Hichilema. That's where the crisis is. Then we have a power-packed week. We have Honorable Andy Ford Banda, president of People's Alliance for Change, PAC, is holding a conference for his political party to choose a presidential candidate. Very interesting development there. Andy Ford Banda, after the conference, will be here on Thursday, 4th September 2025, Tomorrow on Tuesday, we have Honorable Sebastian Copeland. He was MP for Chembe constituency in Luapula. Very, very vibrant member of parliament. You remember his contributions, and very well experienced. He worked at State House. He was a close collaborator with President Mwanawasa, where he served as special assistant for special duties. He also worked with Mr. Sata when Mr. Sata was at Ministry Without Portfolio. He's worked very well with President Edgar Lungu, where he was an MP under that government. We have Brebna Changala on Wednesday. Brebna Changala comes to discuss what is happening to the state of governance. Where is civil society? Why the silence? Why the conspiracy? Power-packed week, and join us in the debate. God bless you, and we will see you tomorrow.
Ambassador Emmanuel Mwamba confronts the truth behind what may be Zambia's darkest environmental catastrophe, the collapse of the Copperbelt Dam that poisoned the lifeline of our nation, the Kafue River. From the Copperbelt through Central Province and into Lusaka, more than 7 million Zambians depend on this river for survival. Today, that very lifeline carries death. Who bears the blame? Did the government of the Republic of Zambia commit an act of treasonable negligence by failing to protect its people? Or did a Chinese mining giant unleash one of the most inhuman and catastrophic crimes in history? An act so reckless it could threaten a third of Zambia's population. The questions are grave. The answers may shake this nation to its core. EM Verified. Monday night. Do not miss it.